You know what this page is. Natsumi's trash cans defending Shuichi Saihara from haters for like an hour for his birthday. This is an hour, I am not gonna be okay. Like an hour long thing. Warning, this post is long again. Over the last 3 years after Danganronpa V3 has been released, I actually came across Shuichi haters here and there, and I have seen their arguments as to why they think he sucks and how he should have died and Kaede should have survived instead, making full-on or just scribbling out his face on drawings of him and reposting the edited art on Instagram. Don't do that to anyone's art. That's disrespectful as hell and disgusting. So after I've seen all that, I'm going to explore and defend Shuichi right here, right now, on his birthday. I rant a lot, so it's not new or anything, so enjoy. Shuichi doesn't deserve to be a detective. He's so dumb and afraid of the truth. Shuichi is afraid of the truth, but he's smart as hell. Let's discuss something. Would you, in all honesty, want Shuichi to be exactly like Hiragiri? Because most of the people who believe Shuichi's smart had these expectations for him. First off, that would be very unoriginal and unlike that. What I like about the games is that every character is written. They are also unique and different. Just because Shuichi is the ultimate detective doesn't mean he's going to be Hiragiri. Same as Nagito and Makoto, who have the same talent yet are so vastly different. Honestly, though, they are very different. Second point is that Shuichi's specialty was doing small cases for his uncle so that he can focus on the important things, which basically included finding lost pens and identify cases, catching cheaters. He solved only one murder case. He isn't at Kirigiri's level, who, may I remind you, was born to a family of detectives and had undergone strict training by her grandfather, Fuhito, who wanted her to be a detective no matter what. They are two completely different characters with completely different backgrounds, personalities, and talent. I mean, they can be compared for having same talent, similar aesthetic. Like, they can be compared as characters. Same talent, similar aesthetic. The protagonist, if you want to count Kaede as the V3 protagonists, canon love interest, that sort of thing. Third thing, Shuichi ended Danganronpa. He's not stupid. He figured out Tsumugi was getting them into a trap with the hope and despair options and exposed her for wanting them to choose hope, so Danganronpa continues. He also figured out that Kaede's plan to kill the mastermind failed as soon as he found an actual shot on the trash can. He's an actual detective. He just went through shit making him afraid of the truth, which I'll discuss next. People who say Shuichi deserves to be a detective, doesn't deserve to be a detective, should legally not be allowed to have ice cream, no cookies, and cream flavor. No, nothing is allowed. I'm just kidding. Ha ha ha, maybe. Shuichi is weak. Shuichi didn't have enough self-confidence in himself at first, but there was a huge reason for it. And same reason why he started being afraid of the truth, because every single time he tried doing it, life came back and bit him. He solved a murder case. Turns out the killer was taking revenge for his family. He told Kaede the possibility of a traitor. She ended up her plan to try and kill the mastermind and was executed for killing Rantaro. He solved Miyu's case, and Gonto was the executed. Kaito literally tried tried to get him to stop talking when all he was trying to do was keep them alive. His parents neglected him as a kid. I did not know that. Probably making him think that the problem is with him until he started being better towards them instead. These situations were, and the way Shuichi was raised led him to having self-confidence issues, always doubting what he was doing, if it was the right thing, and if he deserved to be a detective. I don't think he should be blamed for this. But in the end, Shuichi had to believe in himself and all his feelings and deductions to end Danganronpa in Chapter 6. If anything, Shuichi's one of these strong with so much. For dealing with so much, he's no longer weak by the end of the game. And I don't think he was in the first place. Emotionally, yes, in the beginning. He was emotionally not strong. He was emotionally average, not weak. Just adding that in here. TLDR, he's not weak, just went through a lot and probably suffers from anxiety. Rip. Mood, though. Shuichi's also Shuichi is also extremely physically weak, a noodle, a twink, etc. Don't even... What the... Shuichi is in fact not weak. He is shown to be able to do 50 push-ups a day. I can barely do one. Yes, the real noodle was actually me all along. I could barely get through gym class without, like, wanting to die. He may not be the strongest man alive, but he's not lacking in physical strength. At some point, even during the training with Maki and Kaito, with Maki and Kaito, he reaches 50. Then Kaito says that he's lost out and makes him start over. If you check the cage child scene, he lifted the cage with Kokichi, who was saying he shouldn't have lied about being strong because it was really heavy, so he can at least lift up a cage too. Shuichi's real self is some murderer, obsessed with psychopath that assault others. That was never confirmed by the fan version of pregame Shuichi that some fans believe in. We never know if those tapes from Tsumugi showed were real or not. Since pre-memory Shuichi had that we saw at the beginning of the game was more of a nervous, scared boy who said he was kidnapped. Also, Kaede had to yell at him to calm him down, which is notably different to her reaction when he did the same thing the second time they got out of the lockers. Hey, someone who knows that the tapes might... We saw in the beginning where their pre-game selves, Kaede wasn't as nice and had lost her faith in humanity and probably knew what Danganronpa is because she was trying to ask and didn't exactly look happy about it. Rantaro suspected that what was going on because he experienced the same thing before, and Shuichi was confused and most probably scared. I'd have the feeling he'd know what's going on if he really was a huge Danganronpa fan. The reason Tsumugi got the idea of a weak detective that gets more confident is because of his pre-game personality. So pre-game Shuichi was actually way less confident than his in-game self, and that mostly shows in Chapter 6. And that's just how I view it. That's how I view it. Take of it. In the end, pre-game Shuichi and in-game Shuichi are two different characters, just like pre-game Kaede and in-game Kaede. So even if we held accountable for it, just a fanon version of him, not from the tapes. If he assaults people like everyone claims he does, you can't even tell that. Kaede should have survived and said she was a way better protagonist. Hold up. Gotta take a... I'm sorry, but recording 2 rant videos in one night is... no. I'm never doing this again. Kaede should have survived. This is a controversial topic in the fandom. I think because some people love Shuichi more than Kaede and vice versa. I think people can love Shuichi but also want Kaede to be the protagonist, so I'm not going to touch on the topic of whether our favorite protagonist could be a good main character or not. We only experienced one chapter with her. We can't tell what would have happened if Shuichi died instead, and we continued the story with her so we can compare a better protagonist here. But I'll explain why Kaede had to die. She didn't die for Shuichi's development. She died because she was practically everyone suspected her dying before the game even came out. She had an actual talent. She was positive as hell. She tried uniting everyone as best as she could, and she was confident. Sometimes even bossy. These were all warning signs to the Phantom. But the thing is, Kaede isn't perfect. Paranoia got to her too. Because she wanted to save everyone so bad, she tried to kill the mastermind and died thinking she killed someone. I love how everything turned out except for the part where it turns out she didn't kill anyone. I can see by the appeal of the plot, but that's just my opinion. Also, keep in mind, Kaito, who is pretty much male Kaede with a bit of difference in character and stuff, you know. And by that I mean he wanted to keep everyone together, positive as hell. He wanted to just... He died. Dies still. They're two birds of the same feather, you know? The point is, Kaede didn't die for Shuichi to become the protagonist. There was a reason. Everyone suspected she'd die before the game came out. What role would go to Shuichi instead. Ugh. But yeah, I remember seeing a trailer for Danganronpa V3, and I was like, she does not look like a survivor, because she gave me Sayaka vibes. Also, a lot of People tend to forget that Shuichi was the one who ended Danganronpa. I'm not sure Kaede would have been able to, because she probably would agree with Kipo and choose Hope. She's not a detective after all. Now into the small arguments that I saw. His design is boring. Let me see you make a better one. I'm just kidding, don't kill me. I'm pretty sure the thousands of fan arts of him prove that a lot do not agree with the point, me included. He's a pretty boy. Playing against him sucks because he cries a lot. Are people not allowed to have feelings now? The portrayal of his feelings is what made him my favorite Danganronpa protagonist. Personally, I prefer Komaru, but to each your own. Not either grasping at straws for reasons to hate him, or you seriously lack empathy. I don't even think he whined and cried as much as the haters claim he does. Sure, he whined, but his best friend died. He stands in the way of my ship. Well, I'm actually at a loss for words. I only have one advice. If you hate a character for standing in the way of your ship, grow up. It's good for your emotional health, I promise. Minutes, why did you say it was an hour? Maybe it was because I, sped for